God chose only 5 zodiac signs. They are sacred. There is knowledge that is not taught in schools and is not written in popular horoscopes. This knowledge was passed down through generations of sages, prophets, and keepers of ancient teachings. According to ancient esoteric texts, God singled out only 5 zodiac signs, which were given a special purpose. These signs do not just live, they serve a higher power, carry out a mission, purify, awaken, protect. They are sacred. This video is not about everyone, only about the chosen ones, about those who were marked with a sign of light from birth and put on a special path. There are no more than 5 of them. Their strength is not in loud words, but in the depths of their souls and actions. We will tell you who these signs are and why they became the conductors of the Creator's will. If you want to know the truth about yourself or your loved ones, watch to the end. Subscribe to the channel if you are looking for knowledge, not entertainment. This is not a show, this is a revelation. And be sure to write in the comments if you recognize your sign. Perhaps you are one of those whom God Himself chose. The first sign is Aquarius. Among all those who live under the cover of the zodiac circle, only Aquarius is given one of the rarest forms of chosenness, the inner code of awakening. This sign was marked at the moment of its birth with the sign of renewal. Its energy is beyond time, beyond laws, beyond limits. It has the ability to hear what seems like noise to others, to feel what is disguised as silence, and to understand what has not even happened yet. God chose Aquarius not for obedience, but for independence of mind and purity of intentions. He gave him the sacred right to go first, where no one has ever been. Aquarius's natural detachment is not a character trait, but an element of protection. He is separated from noise in order to hear the voice of the source. He distances himself from emotions in order to remain a pure channel of information. His detachment is not coldness, but concentration. There are no empty reactions in him, because his perception works differently. And that is why he is entrusted with one of the most important tasks, to carry ideas that will change human consciousness. Aquarius is a conductor of the higher mind, and his thinking cannot be forced into a system. He carries within himself a blueprint for the future. He has images of the architecture of the coming world, and he feels where the fall of civilization begins, and where its new level is born. His chosenness is in the ability to receive information directly from the field, not through books, not through experience, but through an internal download. Sometimes Aquarius himself does not know where knowledge comes from, but it is there, whole, precise, like a formula. And later, everything turns out the way he described. This is not an accident, this is a gift. Those who are close to Aquarius often feel changes in themselves. His energy influences, gently, imperceptibly, but inevitably. He is able to activate in others what has been dormant for years. His phrase, said on the go, can destroy old thinking. His look is able to reveal a lie, and his silence can create tension that leads to awareness. He was chosen to wake up, not to console, not to lead by the hand, not to adjust, but to shake the consciousness. Aquarius does not seek power, but has it. His strength is in the information that comes through him. He will not manipulate, because he does not need to. He knows. Everything that needs to be heard can be heard, and everything that is not ready will go away. He does not fight. He exists in a different frequency, and therefore he is not involved in the vanity. His calmness is sometimes frightening, because behind it is a colossal volume of inner vision. God endowed Aquarius with the ability to see the whole. He does not divide people, does not make judgments, because he knows all forms are temporary. He understands motives, sees blind spots, feels intentions. His wisdom is not from books. This is the memory of the spirit, which is active from birth. Therefore, even in his youth, his perception of the world is different from everyone else. It is as if he came from the future to remind there is another way, without fear, without attachments, without destruction. There is no desire to be recognized in this sign. It knows its value deeply, without the need to prove it. It can be misunderstood, it can be rejected, but it keeps going. Because its mission is not approval, its task is to bring the essence. It does not like to explain, it simply conveys. And if they hear, it means they are ready. And if not, it moves on, without losing speed. The sacredness of Aquarius is in the carrier code of renewal. It activates other signs, it reveals lies, it destroys illusions. Its words may seem strange, its actions unpredictable. But all this is part of one structure, a shift in reality. Its energy is like an electric discharge. It awakens, purifies, transforms. Not for everyone, only for those who are ready. God does not give random tasks. And the fact that Aquarius is born under the sign of the future is not a coincidence. This is an indication. This is the root. This is the point where knowledge, freedom, and detachment converge. His path is not comfort. His path is truth, even if it is uncomfortable. He will always be in the gap between systems, between worlds, because he is the bridge. God chose Aquarius to remind, consciousness is not logic, but a flow. He is part of this flow, and whoever is nearby gets into the activation zone and will no longer be able to live as before. The second sign is Taurus. The sacredness of Taurus is not loud, not sublime, and not decorative. It is manifested in actions, in silent stability, in the ability not to break down where others get lost. God endowed this sign with a special internal structure that makes Taurus not just strong, but fundamental. His presence creates a space where it becomes calm. He knows how to be silent, so that even those who are full of anxiety calm down nearby. His sacredness is in the ability to keep reality in balance. Taurus is a point of rest, a center, an axis. People of this sign are endowed with the divine gift of preserving and multiplying. Everything they touch begins to grow: a house, a business, a relationship, even a thought. Their nature is to materialize plans. They do not need to look for miracles. They create them from the ordinary. This is where the sacred quality of Taurus is hidden, turning the earth into gold, not with magic, but with attention, perseverance, and presence. Those born under this sign know how to create a structure where there was chaos before them. Their mission is to eliminate destruction, restore value, protect the essence. They have the quality of an invisible divine guard. They do not advertise their strength, but it is always there. It is in their decisions, in their actions, in the ability to go through external pressure and not lose inner peace. This strength is not for show. It is fundamental. God chose Taurus because he knows how to carry silence and at the same time change the world. He does not proclaim slogans, does not demand attention, but he builds a house, a family, a business, a future. His actions are a prayer. His work is a form of gratitude. His loyalty is a form of an oath. He is not afraid to go slowly because he knows his path is blessed. He does not chase a chaotic victory. He creates something that will remain forever. The sacredness of Taurus is in his simplicity. He does not need symbols because he himself is a symbol of stability. His kindness is not sentimental, but fundamental. He may not talk about love, but he will show it in his actions every day. He may not ask, but he is always grateful. He may not explain, but he always knows. This silence is not emptiness. This is the silence in which God can be heard. Taurus was chosen not for ambition, not for strength, not for intellectual brilliance, but for the ability to be the foundation. Where destinies collapse, he becomes a stone. Where everything loses its shape, he holds the shape. He knows how to accept pain without being destroyed, and that is why his path is the path of the guardian. Not a warrior, not a ruler, but one who guards the essence. Those who walk next to Taurus feel this on a subconscious level. It is safe with him. You can be silent with him. You can be vulnerable with him. And this is the highest form of spiritual strength. He does not demand worship, but becomes a guide. He does not teach, but you learn through him. He does not promise, but keeps his word. Such a person is part of the divine mechanism, and that is why God chose him, to remind others through him that the world can be held together. Not with words, not with fear, not with manipulation, but with a quiet, unwavering presence in which you can exhale and remain yourself. The third sign is Aries. Among all the zodiac signs, it is the representative of this sign who was chosen for a special mission, which requires inner strength, the ability to act quickly and take the initiative without fear of the consequences. He is not just strong. He is created to open new paths where there is not a single trace yet. His purpose is not connected with secrets or symbols. It is expressed through direct actions, through progressive movement and absolute determination. Aries is not a warrior in the classical sense, but an instrument of God's will, aimed at destroying stagnation, clearing space for change. He does not doubt, does not seek confirmation. He just does. This is the sacred essence of his nature. His gift is to be the first. He is called not to wait for someone to decide, but to decide for himself, to accept responsibility and bear it to the end, even if the whole world goes against it. In the most difficult circumstances, the representative of this sign is able to maintain clarity of thought and purity of action. His will is what even those who usually bow to no one submit to. He is respected not for his affection, but for his honesty. Not for his softness, but for the fact that he does not betray himself for the sake of comfort. He knows not everyone will accept him, but it does not matter. His recognition is in the very strength of his character, in his ability to awaken courage in others. Aries' chosenness is manifested in the details. He is able to ignite a crowd or stop chaos with one word. His presence changes the dynamics in space. Where he appears, movement comes. No stagnation survives next to him. People feel this intuitively, even if they cannot explain why next to him they want to act, fight, not give up. An endless source of determination works inside him. Even in periods of fatigue, he remains collected, ready to break through. He does not need external motivation, because everything needed for action is already built into his coordinate system. One thing is important: do not go against your nature. As soon as he begins to doubt, to engage in unnecessary reflection, his power dissipates. But as soon as he simply stands up and takes a step, everything makes sense again. He does not ask, he demands. Not because he is cruel, but because he cannot do otherwise. His internal system does not allow compromises where they harm justice. His honesty is sometimes frightening, but it also purifies. Aries is a sign through which an impartial, objective will acts. And if he begins to act, it means that not only he needs it, everyone needs it. The world gives Aries a lot of resistance, not because he is weak, but because his task is to go through them. Every conflict, every challenge is not a punishment, but a confirmation of his role. He should not hide or try to be convenient. He must burn, go forward, and break everything that hinders growth, both in himself and in others. He is not sacred because he is perfect. His chosenness is in something else. He is necessary. Without him, it is impossible to move the dead point. Without him, people will wait and remain silent. He is the start. He is the fire under which fears and lies melt. His fire burns, but it also purifies. This is his path, and this is his purpose. The fourth sign is Cancer. The power of this sign is not in demonstration, but in deep knowledge. God chose Cancer representatives not for ostentatious power, but for internal, invisible work. Their mission is to store and transmit experience, feelings, connections that cannot be measured by logic. They have a code for intuitively recognizing good and evil. They do not need confirmation. They feel the truth from the inside, as if it is stitched into their nervous system. Each Cancer is given a special perception of pain and love, not because they suffer more than others, but because emotions pass through them that others avoid. This ability is not a punishment, but a sacred role. Cleansing streams pass through Cancer. He takes on destruction to maintain balance around him. He does not talk about it, he just does it. Without complaints, without the need for recognition. They are endowed with invisible armor, which is often mistaken for vulnerability. But this is not weakness. This is the ability to remain soft in a world that has become hard. Their heart is the point of contact with the sky, and therefore each of their choices, based on kindness, sets in motion processes that others are not even able to notice. Their decisions are divine accents in the destinies of others. They can change the direction of life with one word, remind a person with one look who he is. Cancers do not like vanity. They do not participate in battles for attention. Their path is silence. God gives them the power to influence not through shouting, but through presence. When Cancer is nearby, the space becomes denser. People intuitively feel trust, open up, say what they have not told anyone. This is the gift of being a conductor of non-verbal truth. Cancer's special feature is deep memory. They remember what others erase. And this is where another of their functions is stored, to be living archives. Through their memories, God preserves what is important. Their past is not ballast, but a mechanism by which the world does not forget who he is. Therefore, even Cancer's traumas become an instrument of divine restoration. They can transform pain into understanding, loss into compassion, silence into a healing presence. Cancer is not just a sign, it is a point of spiritual renewal in the zodiac. It does not shout about its purpose, it simply lives it. And this is what makes it the chosen one. Through representatives of this sign, God reminds the world, Real strength is not in demonstration, but in depth. Not in domination, but in the ability to be there when it hurts. Not in ruling, but in embracing. They do not carry bright banners. Their light is dim, but it gives hope to those who find themselves in the dark. Cancer is a sacred channel. Its task is not to save everyone, but to be the one who does not leave when others have fled. This is why God chose it. Not for courage, not for brilliance, but for the ability to remain human, even when the whole world is engulfed in cold. Cancers are not heroes in form. They are heroes in essence. The divine energy that flows through the representatives of this sign is invisible. But it is this energy that starts the processes of restoration on a subtle level. Home, family, feelings, attachments, memories, everything that is connected with the foundation of human nature is controlled by them. If life is collapsing somewhere, Cancer comes, not with shouts and slogans, but with warmth that restores strength. They do not demand rewards. Their presence is already a reward for the world. And the less they talk, the stronger their influence. God knows that only Cancer is capable of carrying this invisible cross and not breaking. Only he can be a support without asking for anything in return. That is why among all the signs, only a few have received such a mission, and Cancer is among them. The fifth sign of Pisces. Pisces were chosen by God for their ability to feel what has not yet happened, to understand what others have not said, and to bring light where it has long been dark. Their sacredness defies logic because it does not belong to the earthly level. It is subtle, penetrating, invisible, but it is there. Representatives of this sign go through life as guides. They do not lead, they do not command. They go, and you want to follow them, without pressure, without calling, simply because they breathe truth. The divine gift of Pisces is the ability to accept without judging, to listen without demanding, to understand without explaining. They have open channels that are closed in others. Intuition, empathy, premonition, inner hearing, all this works infallibly for them. They read between the lines, feel between the words, understand without clarification. God has invested in them a soft power that does not destroy, but transforms. Pisces can be a mirror. Looking into them, others see themselves. Sometimes it is frightening, sometimes it is healing. Their inner sensitivity is a tool through which they can influence deeper than the loudest speakers. They are silent, but their silence is louder than words. They cry, and even those who are used to being cold cry next to them. Their presence destroys armor and starts processes that cannot be stopped. This sign was chosen to remind us of the soul, not of religion, not of rituals, of the true essence, of the depth that is forgotten in the world of forms. Pisces is a reminder that pain does not make us weak, that forgiveness is not a sign of defeat, that feeling is not dangerous. Through them, God says, sensitivity is a gift, not a flaw. They live in the world of sensations, and that is why their path is spiritual. They are able to heal not with their hands, but with their presence. A word spoken by them at the right moment can remove an internal lock that has not given in for years. Their gaze penetrates inside. Their kindness is not polite, but deep. Their care is not social, but an internal need. Pisces cannot be indifferent. And that is why God gave them a mission, to be the guardians of compassion. Their path is not easy. They are drawn to everything that hurts. It is difficult for them to distance themselves. It is difficult not to dissolve. But this is the highest form of service. God was not looking for ideal people. He was looking for those who feel. And he found them in this sign, because only those who feel the pain of the world can truly change it, not by force, but by empathy. Pisces do not always know that they are chosen, but this does not change the essence. Their soul works independently of their awareness. They come, and something changes. People open up, fears recede, old wounds heal, because Pisces are carriers of invisible light. They do not burn, they glow. They do not blind, but they light the way. Their sacredness is in their subtlety, in the ability to remain soft where everything requires toughness, in the ability to believe in the best when everyone else gives up, in the ability to feel the pain of another as if it were your own, and not become embittered. God chose them so that through them the world would remember that the heart is not weakness. This is the key.